Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to a daily quiz for today. Also, reminding you, we are now on Telegram as well to give you all the latest current affairs updates about the UPSC examination. Do join the Telegram channel if you have not done so till now using the link given in the description of the video. Now let's begin with question number 1. Consider the following statements with regards to Kuki Chin tribal community. Number 1. The term Chin is used for the people in the neighboring Chin state of Myanmar, whereas Chins are called Kukis in the Indian side. Second, following the ethnic clashes between the Nagas and the Kukis in the early 1990s, a number of Kuki outfits such as Kuki National Front were formed to counter the Naga hegemony and assertion in the region. Third, the Kuki Chin National Army aims to create a separate state in the Chittagong Hill Tracts in southern Bangladesh. How many of these given statements is or are correct? All these three given statements about the Kuki Chin tribal community are actually correct. It's not an easy question to answer, but we are asking this because it has been in the news for some days now. This is covered in today's Hindu newspaper as well. That is, the Indian and the Bangladeshi government has established contact to resolve this issue of the Kuki Chin refugees who are actually entering Mizoram from Bangladesh. So a lot of Kuki Chin communities are actually living in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh recently has launched an armed operation against them, attacking them because they have formed an army of sorts and they are attacking the Bangladesh security forces. So Bangladesh security forces have now asserted their influence, and a lot of these tribes are now entering India, specifically in Mizoram. So far, 293 of them have already entered India. Now, India, as you know, is not a party to the UN Refugee Convention. However, we still do accept refugees on a case-by-case basis. However, the government of India has said that anyone coming into India illegally would be deemed as an illegal foreigner and would be liable to be prosecuted for violating the Foreigners Act of India. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to in-camera court proceedings in India. Number 1. Section 327 of the Code of Criminal Procedure has detailed types of cases that should be recorded on camera, including inquiry into and trial in rape cases. Second, as per this section, if the presiding judge or a magistrate thinks fit, she can order at any stage of the proceedings that the public generally or any particular person shall not remain present in the courtroom or the court building. Third, in-camera proceedings are usually conducted at family courts in case of matrimonial disputes, including judicial separation, divorce proceedings, importance, and more. Which of these given statements is or are correct? The correct answer here would be D. All the three given statements again are correct about in-camera proceedings, which are in the news because of the ongoing Tarun Tejpal case. Now, as you know, there is a case going on against Tarun Tejpal, the former editor of the Tehelka magazine, in the High Court of Bombay, in Goa specifically. Now, his lawyers had requested that the proceedings in the case should be done in camera. Now, in camera proceedings mainly means private proceedings where the outside public would not be allowed, and only the people who are concerned with the case directly would be present there. However, this actually is on the discretion of the person who is hearing the case, that is the judge, to decide on such matters. As I said, section 327 details the types of cases that should be recorded on camera, including rape cases mainly. These kind of cases are mostly always heard by a female judge only. Now, this provision in the Code of Criminal Procedure actually says that inquiry into these kind of cases or offences that include rape that could lead victim to be in a vegetative state or death, or rape of a woman under 12 years of age, or intercourse with wife during separation, intercourse by public servant with a woman in his custody, all these kinds of cases should be, as far as possible, heard in camera and presided over by a female judge only. In the specific case of Tarun Tejpal, the Supreme Court had said that the provision of in-camera hearing is not to protect the accused. It is to protect the victim's right. So the accused cannot demand an in-camera hearing. It is the victim who has a right to demand the same. Next, question number 3. Which of the following best defines wet leasing an aircraft? Number 1. Renting the plane along with operating crew and engineers. Second, renting only the aircraft. Third, renting any without label aircraft. Or fourth, renting the aircraft for medical purposes. Which of these best defines wet leasing an aircraft? The correct answer here would be A. Wet leasing an aircraft refers to renting a plane along with the entire crew and the engineers who actually run the plane. Dry leasing, on the other hand, refers to only renting the aircraft and not the crew specifically. Now, this is a very common practice. Many of the airline companies that you see, Indigo, Vistara, Jet, etc., many of them don't own their aircrafts. Many of them have leased aircrafts from the other companies. So it's a very, very common practice. Either they lease it along with the entire crew, or they lease only the aircraft and then they use their own crew. As I said, a lot of planes used by airlines in India are actually leased because they actually prefer having to pay in parts and not the entire bill if they have to buy the entire aircraft. Next, question number 4. Which of the following statements is not true about RBI's e-rupee? Number 1. E-rupee would be issued in the same denomination that paper currency and coins are currently issued. Second, users will be able to transact with e-rupee through a digital wallet offered by the participating banks and stored on mobile phone and devices. Third, transactions can only be person to merchant. Fourth, RBI has demarcated the digital rupee into two broad categories, retail and wholesale. You have to tell which of these statements is not true. The answer here would be C. As per the RBI, the transactions allowed on e-rupee would be person to merchant and person to person as well. So individuals can also transfer e-rupee from one wallet to the other, and it does not only have to be merchant to merchant. The reason why we are discussing this question is because the RBI is now launching the pilot project of the first trial of e-rupee in a few cities across the country, total of 4: Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore and Bhubaneswar. Later on, it is expected that the project will be expanded to Ahmedabad, Gangtok, Guwahati, Hyderabad, Indore, Kochi, Lucknow, Patna and Shimla. They are just testing out how does the platform work in real life, or are there any hiccups that we need to be prepared for. The first phase will begin with 4 banks: State Bank of India, ICICI, Yes Bank and the IDFC First Bank across the entire country. Next is a previous year question from 2016. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Viruses can infect bacteria, fungi, plants. Which of these can be infected by viruses? It's a tricky question, but you can easily get the answer to this question if you have read NCRTs of science. The correct answer here is D. All the 3 are actually infected by viruses. Class 12 Biology NCRT gives you an example of scientists who have worked with viruses that infect bacteria. Class 8 NCRT gives you plant diseases which are caused by viruses. Alternatively, if you read the Tamil Nadu board books, their science book also tells you that viruses can be classified into mainly 4 types. Plants viruses, including the algal viruses, animal viruses, fungal viruses and bacterial viruses. This also tells us that viruses can infect all these 3 and not just 1 or 2. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today we want to discuss a very, very important quote that is used all across the country in terms of the judicial system. The quote is, "Arc of moral universe bends towards justice." Now, the reason why this is in the news is that recently, during the Constitution Day celebrations that were organized by the Supreme Court of India, Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, had used this quote about the moral arc of justice. He had said, "The Indian judiciary has been adopting several measures of institutional reforms with single objective," and I borrow the celebrated phrase of American civil rights activist Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to describe this, "to bend the arc of moral universe towards justice." This phrase has also been used by the leaders across the entire world. Now, as you can see here, this is a phrase very, very famously used by Martin Luther King Jr. in one of his great speeches. It was first recorded in 1965 when he was talking about the issue of African American people should be getting the right to vote. He was the one who had actually said, "How long? Not long, because the arc of moral universe is long and it bends towards justice." Now, this is not his original quote. He was also paraphrasing this quote from 1853, which was originally spoken by Theodore Parker of Massachusetts, who was a Unitarian minister and abolitionist. In a sermon in 1853, he had said, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by experience or sight." Now, in very, very simple terms, the meaning of this phrase is that though justice may take a long time than expected, the universe always moves towards it. So in the long run, we will always see justice being delivered. So if it is not being delivered in the short run, don't lose your hope, because in the long run, the universe will make it all happen. However, it doesn't mean that justice will happen automatically. Human efforts are required to ensure justice on the outside. The Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, in his speech said that we need to make efforts to ensure that judiciary is adopting several measures to attain the objective of bending the arc of moral universe towards justice. He also said how the judiciary needs to reach out to the people rather than expecting the other way around. This is everything that you needed to know about this famous quote, and you can also use this in the mains examination as well. This is all for today's daily quiz video. Thank you so much for watching.